Thanks for joining us on Retiring Well this week. We're going into our 11th season filming. Boy, I hope you're finding lots of great information out there. This work, we're going to be diving into, will Social Security be there, and what are some of the things? And also, there's going to be a little fun fact about when Social Security started and who got the first payment. Elements of an income plan, all the various things you need to consider when you're building out that retirement income plan. Then, IRA Exit Strategies. What does that mean, and what are the elements of that? And finally, we're going to talk about IPOs, initial public offerings, what they are, and what does all the hype have to do out there?
Retiring Well, brought to you by Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial advisors specializing in retirement planning and serving all of Northern Michigan. Retiring Well, helping you plan for a successful and comfortable retirement. Retiring Well. Plan to retire well.
Wow, maybe the most asked question or some form of it we get here at the office. Social Security, when should I take it? Will it even be there? You know, how are all these scenarios, or what works best for me? Wow, it can be just a tangled web of different things when you're trying to figure this out. But let's focus on that one question. Will it even be there? Folks, at the end of the day, we don't exactly know, to be honest, right? Nobody exactly knows. There's so many variables out there. But what we can do is look at some of the material that's out there right now. In 2020, the Board of Trustees for Social Security published a report, and they basically said that as of right now, it's funded through the year of 2034, 2035. And then basically what that means at that point is expenses are going to outweigh the income of Social Security, and it will need to be reduced of 79%. Basically, it doesn't mean it's going bankrupt, but if nothing changed over that time and that projection kept true, that basically, let's basically face it, funds or your payments will be reduced to 79% of what they are today. So we could argue all day about whether that will happen or not, or what are things they can do. But let's take a look back and maybe how we got there, some interesting things about that. So, you know, one thing that I thought was interesting is, when did Social Security even start? And maybe what does that look like? So I want to read you something here. So the first monthly retirement benefit was paid on January 31st of 1940 to Ida Mae Fuller of Vermont. She received $22.54 when she was 65 years old, and that was when she first started collecting, and she lived to be 100 years old. So wow, right off the bat, somebody lived longer than they thought of Social Security, right? Over her lifetime, she collected $22,882.92. She paid into the Social Security system $24.75. Interesting, right? So we wonder sometimes how we get there. I'm not saying that's every case, because unfortunately people die before they even get Social Security and stuff like that, and they've paid in. But the very first person that got this example collected that much and only paid in that little, right? So also, the thing that caught me was obviously 1940. We're in a much different place there, but she was getting $20-some a month, right? So I looked back, what are averages over time? 1940, $22.71 a month was the average monthly benefit. 1980, $321.10 was the average benefit. 2015, $1,332.35 was the average benefit. Obviously, inflation plays a role, cost of living, all that stuff rolls into that. But folks, one thing to remember when we're doing this is whether or not it's going to be there or not is an unknown. We have to plan for this. Social Security was never designed to be your sole income in retirement. By definition, SSI, supplemental security income, right? It's supposed to be supplemental to your other sources. Have a plan, work on your other assets, and have that be a supplement, but make sure you're maximizing it to the best of your individual situation.
Hey, welcome back. I hope that you got to enjoy that little example of what Art was able to teach about what might happen with Social Security. You know, it's probably a top 5 question that we get at our office as far as when clients come in, when we ask them, hey, what are your concerns? Hey, will Social Security be there? Well, yes, but what is it going to look like? And then more importantly, what is it going to look like to you? And so as we get to meet and talk with you, we get to personalize your Social Security plan. We get to plan for, okay, what happens if in 2034 it changes funded. What are we going to do? What is our plan to react to that? We have different clients that are waiting for Social Security because they're doing tax planning, or they're saying, hey, let's take it now. We don't know if it's going to be there. Let's just get it in place and let the other variables of our plan work around that. So if you're sitting there and you have a question about your Social Security, if you have a concern, if you're worried about it, give us a call. We have all kinds of tools to help educate and then help teach and coach you through, some options that might fit for you. I know you had a client that was pretty concerned about it.
I mean, they were very concerned. They didn't feel that Social Security was going to be around in the next 10 years. So what we have is a software program that allows us to input that data, put everything together, and show what it might look like if Social Security is not here by 2035. I was able to run those figures through for them. I went and said, hey, what happens if we have just a 21% reduction in their Social Security? What would that look like when their age, and for them it happened to be 74. It still worked out for them, okay? They had enough of a nest egg where that reduction in Social Security, I mean, they felt it, but they could still live the same normal retirement life that they had planned on. So it really helped them, though, to visualize, to see that program spit out the numbers and understand what that might look like if Social Security does go that way. So hopefully you found that very valuable. Coming up next, we're going to talk about elements to an income plan and then IRA exit strategies. So stay tuned.
Every success story starts with a plan. The success of your retirement depends on a solid financial plan. If you are nearing retirement or already retired, we invite you to an informative live event to help you plan to retire well. There is no cost and no obligation, and dinner is on us. We are Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial professionals, specializing in retirement planning, serving all of northern Michigan, with offices in Traverse City, Cadillac, Petoskey, and Gaylord. Our presentation includes, is your retirement prepared for inflation? Do you know the true risk of your investments? What happens to your assets when you pass away? Do you have a tax plan? How does your income affect health insurance costs? And much more. Call 888-608-5825 to register and choose the date and location that works best for you. Tuesday, March 8th, at Lakeside Charlie's in Cadillac, or Thursday, March 10th at the Otsego Grand Event Center in Gaylord. The live event starts at 6 p.m. and is free to attend with a complimentary gourmet dinner to follow, but seating is limited and tends to fill quickly. Call 888-608-5825 to reserve your seats today. Don't miss this important live event to help you plan to retire well. Call 888-608-5825 today.
You can have a portfolio or you can have a plan. You can play it safely or you can safely plan. You can guess when to take Social Security or you can make your decision based on detailed analysis. You can hope your savings will last your entire retirement, or you can take action and know. You can let life happen to you, or you can take control. You can go it alone, or you can have an experienced guide ready to walk with you every step of the way. We are Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial planners serving all of northern Michigan, offices in Gaylord, Petoskey, Traverse City, and Cadillac. Simply call the number on your screen for a complimentary initial consultation and let us help you plan to retire well.
There are a number of different elements to an income plan. So at Centennial Wealth Advisory, we focus a lot of our attention on income planning, which is vital in your retirement years. And there's various number of tools available to us. So your current income and contributions into retirement plans, or maybe it's looking at different after-tax accounts. So when is it that you hope to retire? That's a vital question that you want to look at. And ultimately, you may have heard I said hope to retire, because unless you've calculated and run the projections, you really want to sit down and talk to a professional about what your overall retirement income plan looks like. So let's start with Social Security. When is it that you plan to draw that? With Social Security, they have a cost of living adjustment, which we saw just here this year, increased 5.9%. So Social Security is going to play a role. What about, do you have pensions, or maybe there's different annuities where you have known income streams throughout your retirement plan? What about your investments? How are you going to structure those different investments to generate income? What different growth rates are you going to use? What specific withdrawal rate might you consider? So again, key things to be thinking about when you're building the overall retirement plan. Maybe you have different passive income, such as rental properties, or maybe it's a business that you have and there's some income still generated from that. How much is it that you need in retirement? Nobody likes to talk about the word budget. That's not fun for anyone, but it's surprising to me seeing how many people come into the office and they're not really sure what they need as far as income to live on during their retirement years. Another key factor is inflation. We saw that reach 6.8% at the end of 2021, which is the highest that we've seen since 1982, which by all means 1982 was a great year, as that's the year I was born. But what about your taxes on your retirement income? That's a big one that a lot of people don't pay any attention to and don't really know or factor that into the plan, and that's where we have the different tools and team here at Centennial Wealth Advisory to look at all of that. So what about any anticipated changes you might have throughout your retirement years? Maybe there's different part-time wages. What about a mortgage being paid off, or perhaps downsizing your home? So again, these are just a number of different questions that come to my mind when it comes to your retirement income plan. I hope that you've thought through those. If not, give us a call. We'd love to sit down with you for a no cost, no obligation second opinion.
One consistent thing in our working years, taxes. In retirement, guess what? They follow you. Taxes are going to be there in retirement. It's important to have a holistic approach that tackles this and has a plan for this. In your early years, you're in the growth and accumulation phase. You're deferring taxes in most cases, and guess what? In retirement, you turn into a distribution phase, turning that into a paycheck, and now we have to worry about taxes. Our holistic retirement planning approach includes tax planning and implementing tax reduction strategies to minimize your liability and increase your cash flow. We are well versed with ever-changing tax laws and sources of tax-free retirement. Where you put your money matters, and the earlier you take these steps to change, the better. Here at Centennial Wealth, it's important to us to not only consider your investment plan, but have a holistic approach across the board with all of your assets. Take advantage of this opportunity now while you still can. We here in our Northern Michigan offices want to sit down with you with a complimentary, no obligations visit to review your whole plan and take a deep dive into that tax plan so you can be assured that you have a solid foundation not only for today, but for the next 20 to 30 years of your retirement.
If you're retired or approaching retirement in the next 5 to 10 years, join us for an informative live event. This event is all about you, the challenges you face, and the information you need to help you build the future that you want. There's no pressure to become a client. Our goal is to simply give you valuable information that you can use to make smarter financial decisions. We hope that by the time you leave this event, you'll be one step closer to your retirement goals.
IRA exit strategies. What does that mean? What do we mean by when we say, why don't we exit our IRA? Well, let's visually think of this. Let's visualize I have a pie chart, and that pie chart represents my IRA. And let's say that's $500,000. Unfortunately, all that pie is not yours, right? When you look at your retirement statement, John Doe, owner IRA or 401k, whatever it is, it really should say John Doe / IRS or Uncle Sam, right? It's unfortunately not all ours. We've been able to defer taxes on that, and at some point, we're going to pay some tax on that likely down the road. It depends on what tax bracket we're in and all that sort of stuff. So think of this. Why would we want to exit our IRA? Well, we're going to be forced to at some point, right? Required minimum distributions at the age of 72 at the minimum, right? So when we look at exiting the IRA, it's important for us to have a plan in that. Oftentimes we find people are just taking it as they need it, or, oh, I want to buy a truck, or I want to buy a tractor, or whatever that is, and they just start pulling money and don't have a plan. Well, folks, what are some of the things that maybe we could control when we're doing that? For the first time in your life, if you were working most of your life, you now have the opportunity to control what your taxation is. You get to pick when you pay tax and from what sources and how much tax you want to pay. Obviously, income is going to control a lot of that, right? But where you take money from. So why would we want to exit our IRAs? Well, we want to ideally exit them when we're paying the least amount in taxes. So I don't know if maybe that's today for you, maybe that's tomorrow, or maybe that's 10 years down the road, but we want to have a plan for that. What are some things that could change down the road? Obviously, taxes could go up or down. We don't know. Maybe you're married today, a spouse could die, so then you change tax bracket. You go from a married filing jointly to a single taxpayer. Or maybe some other rules or regulations come out down the road. So we have to look at the knowns of today to the unknowns of tomorrow and look at maybe what is in your best interest. So when you're working on an investment plan, make sure you have a tax plan in place. If you have 401ks, 403bs, IRAs, any pre-tax accounts, make sure you have an exit plan. What is that plan? And make sure you know why you have that plan and what its costs are. You should be able to see what your tax liability is over a lifetime. We'd love to sit down with you and map that out. It's one of our things that we enjoy the most, is not only with investment planning, having that holistic approach come alongside that and make sure we're looking at all those expenses, taxes, that are going to come along with that. Oftentimes it's your single biggest expense in retirement is taxation.
Hey, welcome back. I hope you got some value out of all the different parts that are moving when it comes to building out an income plan. You know, there's something that came first of mind to me is back to my flying days, and we were talking about plan A and plan B and plan C. Not only did we have different plans in place, we also had different redundant systems in place. You know, for the plane to operate in case something went badly, there was something to back that up. And so I think there's a lot of overlap when it comes to your income plan, because it's not just one piece, and you definitely don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. You want to plan for a loss of income. Maybe if you're married and you have a spouse, what happens from a spousal plan, income plan? Maybe you want to plan for the inflation. Hey, that goes through the roof. What's going to happen to my spending? I like my standard of living right now. Well, income plans can solve for that. We get to run through all of these different scenarios. We can manipulate them based on your concerns to kind of show you how a plan can help produce peace. So if you're not at peace with what your retirement income plan looks like, then give us a call. Let us help you build out that plan that can offer that peace that allows you to have that retirement that you have prepared for or want to continue to enjoy. Yeah. One way to do that, sorry Nick, would be to maybe talk
plan.
Taxes.
Yeah, I mean, I think the key takeaway there is plan, right? Yeah. IRA exit strategy is another topic they talked about there, and having a plan to buy out Uncle Sam, get him out of your IRA is just so important. Recently I had a client come in and it was a perfect scenario where they retired at 62, they didn't need a lot of income, and they had a smaller IRA. We figured it out that he could buy out Uncle Sam over the next 10 years at $5,000 a year and not pay any income tax on that conversion. So we were doing that IRA conversion to a Roth, and he wouldn't have any taxes whatsoever. So it was just a unique situation for him, but a great situation because he didn't have to pay Uncle Sam any extra money. So hopefully you found that valuable. Please stay tuned. Next up, we're going to be talking about IPOs, or initial public offerings.
Every success story starts with a plan. The success of your retirement depends on a solid financial plan. If you are nearing retirement or already retired, we invite you to an informative live event to help you plan to retire well. There is no cost and no obligation, and dinner is on us. We are Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial professionals, specializing in retirement planning, serving all of northern Michigan, with offices in Traverse City, Cadillac, Petoskey, and Gaylord. Our presentation includes, is your retirement prepared for inflation? Do you know the true risk of your investments? What happens to your assets when you pass away? Do you have a tax plan? How does your income affect health insurance costs? And much more. Call 888-608-5825 to register and choose the date and location that works best for you. Tuesday, March 8th at Lakeside Charlie's in Cadillac, or Thursday, March 10th at the Otsego Grand Event Center in Gaylord. The live event starts at 6 p.m. and is free to attend with a complimentary gourmet dinner to follow, but seating is limited and tends to fill quickly. Call 888-608-5825 to reserve your seats today. Don't miss this important live event to help you plan to retire well. Call 888-608-5825 today.
In today's day and age, with a longer lifespan, you're more likely to encounter both good and bad market performance. For that reason, when planning for retirement, it's increasingly important to seek guidance from a financial advisor who can help you structure an income strategy that reflects your financial situation, risk tolerance, and investment objectives. You don't want just any advice, but objective financial advice. With so much at stake, it's important that you feel you can trust a financial advisor to consider a wide variety of possible solutions, including both investment and insurance products. Here at Centennial Wealth Advisory, we're not beholden to any certain investment tools or vehicles. We're independent. We can offer a wide variety of investment tools that meet your needs. So please, if you have any questions or you want to schedule an initial consultation, don't hesitate to give us a call at the number on the screen. We're happy to help in any way that we can.
All right, let's talk about initial public offerings, or IPOs for short. So this is privately held stock that essentially is now going public. So a private company has to sell this to an investment bank to underwrite it, and then there's a number of different disclosures, and they then solicit interest in the stock. And there's this whole then supply and demand process to see how much interest there is out there. You know, why is it essentially that these companies look to go public? Well, they're looking to access ultimately a larger pool of investment dollars, and it's one where they used to solely do this on their own, but now they're opening it up to the public. So with those additional assets, then maybe they're using that to pay down debt, or maybe it's for working capital. Maybe it's their goal to grow to this next level. We've had a recent example here in northern Michigan with Hagerty Insurance in Traverse City at the end of 2021, where they were able to go out and become a publicly traded stock. Some of the advantages of going public and becoming an IPO, there's an increase and diversification of the equity base. Again, easier access to capital and ultimately greater exposure. Disadvantages might include there's a number of different legal and accounting and marketing costs that come with this. So there's a way higher number of disclosures and legal things that come along with this. Increased, risk within the funding, different litigation that comes along with it. So in 2021, we saw that online discount brokerage firm Robinhood go public. Go back to 2020. Some commonly known names such as DoorDash and Airbnb went public. So with any stock, though, whether they're going public or not, there's going to be a number of different risks that come along with this. So if you hear, oh, this company's going public, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're just going to see that stock price continue to increase. It's going to vary over time, and so that's where, again, it comes back to looking at your overall portfolio and a good diversification of different investments. You want to make sure that, again, that you're going to be matching up your desired risk with the number of different holdings that you would have in your portfolio. Initial public offerings is one avenue that you can look at for different stocks going public, but again, you want to make sure that you're well educated in that area and not put yourself out there at a greater amount of risk than you're comfortable with. So again, if you have questions on this, you're always welcome to give us a call here at Centennial Wealth Advisory.
IPOs seems like a very hot topic as of late. I mean, I know I get a lot of calls. Actually, recently, just at the end of last year, got a lot of calls regarding Hagerty's IPO. A lot of people in this area, they've grown up and watched Hagerty grow as a company, and they wanted to be part of that company. So they just wanted the information on how to invest and how to get involved in it. And Hagerty's IPO is a perfect way to buy their stock, right? To have ownership in that company. It's very important though, because there's a lot of different IPOs out there that you make sure you understand, that you do your research and your due diligence so you know how that company is positioned and what their potential is for future growth. Always recommend you never invest more than you're willing to lose, right? I mean, anything can happen with these companies. So, Jack?
Yeah, no, I think, I appreciate, Nick, what you want to learn about it. And it's not just a headline. You got to dig in deeper and look at what is the purpose of buying that position. I'm going to let you in on a little bit about me and my journey in something that was similar to IPOs, where it was probably 2000, where I was doing cement work every single day in the summer and wearing Carhartts. And it just seemed like no matter what, I couldn't wear out Carhartts. And so I fell in love with Carhartts, and I have maybe a little secret obsession with just all things Carhartt. Personal, okay? But in my journey though, I thought, hey, this would be really cool if I could buy Carhartt stock, right? Well, it's a private company. So they have not gone public yet, but that's something, if they ever choose to go and offer an IPO, it's gonna be one that I'll be first in line for, just purely because I like the products. But would that be a good financial decision? I don't know. I know enough though that I'm going to be doing my research into the different financial statements that they're going to have to produce to go public. And so after my research, then I can make an informed decision. And that's what we love to do here, is if you have questions, if you have concerns about something, give us a call. And we can help walk through what that answer is and really nail down, the purpose behind what you're trying to accomplish, and make sure that's all in good order. So I hope that you enjoyed our show this week. Love that you're able to sit back, relax, and watch and get educated. So you have a great week, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place.